Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Spirit Talk with Jade on Vibe Radio. Um, I'm coming to you guys right now, courtesy of Ryan Jones with the freaking awesome paranormal show, and um, I am a psychic medium. I'll start off every episode with this. I'm a psychic medium. I am part of an amazing team here in Buffalo, New York. Ghost Stories Fact and Fiction, or GSFF. I will tag them when I am done this stream, and please go add them on Facebook. We have some really awesome stuff um, coming up. Hey, Ryan. We have some awesome events coming up, actually. So, well, first and foremost, we have a psychic fair in May of this year, May 20th and 21st. It is in Wales Center. Is it in Wales, New York, which is just maybe like a half an hour, 40 minutes outside of Buffalo. So it'll be a 2 day event. We will have tables there, and I will have a table there. I will be um, selling and kind of like advertising for Ouija board related items. I'll be selling things like crystals but yeah, I will be there. I'll have a table. You can come and see me and say hello to me. But yeah, follow our team. Again, that's Ghost Stories Fact and Fiction on Facebook, and we also have TikTok, GSFF underscore paranormal on TikTok. And so follow us. We'll have the psychic fair, and we also have some upcoming investigations that we would like to share with you guys. We'll be going to Wildwood in April, and then in June we plan on going to Salem, Massachusetts. Um, so that'll be an awesome trip. So yeah. So tonight, um, this kind of episode is like we'll be talking ghosts and paranormal experiences. I do have a guest tonight. His name is Denny Blair, and he is a paranormal investigator, and I will be asking him questions about, what got him started into it and um, some of his most, profound spiritual experiences. So hold on a sec, guys. I'm going to go ahead and add him. Let's see, 1 second. Hey,
Hi.
can you hear me, see me? Good?
Yep, I can hear you and see you good. You can hear and see me good too, right?
Yep. How are you
All right.
doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good tonight. A little tired, but I'm really excited to do the show. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do the show with you.
So, all right. So let's just get right into the spooky stuff, okay?
All
And
right.
I have like a bunch of questions for you and just answer how you want to. All right. So the first one is, when did your interest in the paranormal start? How old were you? What
So,
you remember?
my interest in the paranormal, it really began at a young age. I think I was around like 6 or 7 years old. And at that age, I had been exposed to like many of the local stories of like ghostly encounters and mysterious sightings. There's actually a really local one in our area, and it has to do with Devil's Elbow. And the whole story goes, it's the story of a hitchhiking ghost, and it's about a lady in white, and she's seen standing by the edge of the road on Devil's Elbow, and
Mm-hmm.
she's hoping to get a ride from a motorist. And so, like, when the motorist stops, to look for her, the motorist would find that she'd just vanish into thin air. And this is actually like based on partial truth and stuff because in the 1800s there was an inn and tavern that stood at the bottom of this steep hill, and it was frequented by like many unsavory individuals. And
Hmm.
in 1932, they actually discovered, they had an excavation done, and they actually discovered um, the skull of a young woman, and she was killed either with an axe or a board to the head, and it fractured her skull. And once this body was excavated and brought to the surface, we don't hear too much about this story again, about the ghost. But that's one of the local stories around this area. But for me, I think the this is what, like, being at a young age, like 6 or 7 years old, um, this is what really, made me curious to learn more about the paranormal. But it wasn't really until I was around 12 or 13 years old, back in middle school, was when I really started to, research and study the paranormal more in depth. Um, I would always go to the school libraries, and I'd always, check out some of the books, everything and everything I could find on the paranormal.
Hmm.
And I would also
You know,
talk to
I always
people.
liked scary stuff since I was
Oh yeah,
little.
yeah, me
Just
too.
drawn to it. Well, not scary
But
stuff, but you know what I
I
mean.
would always, I would always talk to, people and students in the school about, like, paranormal stuff, and that was really nice knowing that there's other people out there that were curious about it. But back then, I'd also go into chat rooms and I'd discuss the paranormal with people all across the world. And as my knowledge and understanding of the paranormal grew, I kind of decided to pursue it a little more in depth in order to help people that were, being afflicted by paranormal activity. Um, and I did it basically to help people understand and cope with their paranormal experiences. And I have had the opportunity to be involved in a few paranormal conventions here in my local area, and also be a part of some speaking arrangements. And my passion for the paranormal continues to grow, and I am really excited to see what the future holds. So that was
Okay,
pretty
so
much what really got me into the paranormal.
have you ever lived in like a haunted house? Like what was what was like one of your first paranormal experiences that made you go, "Oh, like this is real."
Um, I'd have to say our high school that I went to, or actually not the high school, but the middle school. So our auditorium is supposedly haunted by a ghost that plays the piano at night and, like, plays the piano.
Hmm.
And I was there one night after school because my dad, he used to work at the school a long time ago, and he knew a lot of the janitors back then. So he used to go over there, and I used to ride with him. He used to go over there to, shoot the shit with some of the janitors. But I would always, go wander around the school at night. And I went to the auditorium, the middle school auditorium, and I heard piano music. I was sitting in the back, kind of like the back row of the auditorium, and I all of a sudden heard piano music playing. But the one thing is, there wasn't a piano on stage at the time. And I tried to look for a piano on stage, and there wasn't one to be found. And I actually walked over to the music room, and the door was locked, and all the lights were off. There was nobody even there. But I started hearing the doorknob jiggle a little bit, and I tried to open it and stuff, but it was locked, and it was kind of weird. But that was
Yeah,
like one of the first paranormal experiences I've had.
yeah, there was no one there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, as we both know, spirits can play music.
Yes. Yes, they can.
Seriously. All right, All right. So, I like have these in order, but now that we're talking, I'm just like thinking. All right. So skip ahead. Where was your first major paranormal investigation, and how did it go?
All right. My first paranormal, my first major paranormal investigation, it was actually a local case here in my local area, and it was a homeowner was having various paranormal activity happening in her home, and she was having such things as items going missing and then reappearing in different places throughout the house
Hmm.
that she knows she didn't put them, and hearing phantom footsteps, things being dragged and moved across the attic floors, shadow figures being seen, disembodied voices being heard throughout the house. And after talking to the homeowner, we learned that her granddaughter, when she was living there, was messing around with a Ouija board down in the basement.
Uh-huh.
Um, she used to live down in the basement actually when she was living there,
Hmm.
and she had opened up a doorway, which we believe to the other side, which allowed
Hmm.
some negative entities to come through. And I remember going through some audio evidence from the basement where we captured an EVP of Diablo. It said Diablo,
That's not good.
and no, no, it's not. And it was then that we kind of knew what we were dealing with at the time. But down in the basement, there's this one room downstairs, and it had a very heavy black mirror on the wall,
Hmm.
and it was giving off high EMF readings. And if you got close to it, you could feel the hairs on your whole body. You know, they would stand up on end like everywhere. And we all kind of knew that this mirror was a portal. And
Right.
if you actually look at the definition of what a portal is a doorway or a gate or other entrance, especially a large and imposing one. And some synonyms of a portal are doorway, gateway, entrance, way in, way out, exit, egress, opening. And if you actually think about it, can light enter into a mirror? Yes.
Hmm.
What is light? Light is frequency, and frequency is energy, and it's something that everything, including humans, are all made of. So, in theory, yes, a mirror can be a portal for energy of all kinds. And we,
Oh
as a
yeah.
team, we removed that mirror portal from
Hmm.
the homeowner's home, and we wrapped it in a black cloth and we disposed of it. And I talked to the homeowner actually after that, and we also did some. We also cleansed the home. We saged the home. We used holy
Hmm.
water. We sprinkled salt around the home and every doorway and entranceway and corner of the
Hmm.
house. I was also reading Bible battle verses, and when we were actually finished with the investigation, we heard back from the client a few weeks later, and she had told us the good news that all the paranormal activity had stopped, and it had come to a complete stop and it never returned.
Cool. Good job.
Yeah.
That's always good. All right, hold on. Let me just look at this for one sec. Um, okay, so you probably have most equipment out of anybody I've ever met.
Yeah. I do have a lot, don't I?
It's like, holy crap.
I
Okay,
have a
so
big toolbox full of equipment.
yeah. Um, all right, so when you're on an investigation, what are your favorite pieces of equipment and methods to contact the other side?
So I think one of the best methods is you're going to want to keep an open mind, and you're going to want to use scientific methods to investigate, such as collecting evidence, taking photos, videos, making recordings. You're going to want to utilize some of the latest technology and tools, such as EMF meters, EVP recorders, and thermal imaging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, you're going to want to talk to witnesses and other investigators, to gain more insight into the phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Conduct research, background checks on potential locations, learn about the history. You're going to want to have a team of experienced paranormal investigators with you to help observe and document evidence. You can also establish control experiments, to test hypotheses. You're going to want to follow up on any evidence collected. Um, Exercising caution and common sense when conducting investigations. Document all findings and evidence in a comprehensive report. But some of the equipment I use like digital cameras, I use motion detectors, infrared thermometers, EMF detectors, digital audio recorders. Um, you're also going to need a flashlight, laser grids, dowsing rods, spirit box, night vision goggles, and uh, I think one of the best um, pieces of equipment to use is actually yourself, your body, and your senses, because nothing really nothing really beats personal experiences.
Do
But
you just want to talk about our Hinsdale trip? I'm way too excited.
um, oh yeah, yeah, I am too.
All right, so this when did we go? It was February 6th, right?
Yeah, February 6th.
We did an overnight at the Hinsdale house and it was crazy.
Yes, it was.
Um okay. Well, we both have like a history there, but that was the first time that we went together. We stayed overnight. And so what all right, well, first of all, this was also the first time that you saw somebody use a Ouija board as part of the investigation, correct?
Yes, that is correct. First time I've
Okay.
ever seen somebody actually in person using the Ouija board.
Okay, and based on the history that you know about the place, regardless of what I've told you, what did you think of it? Like, what did you think? Was it, did
Um,
it like scare you? Like what?
oh, the fact that you were using a Ouija board?
Well, the fact of what, like the information that we got.
Oh, I think the information we got like from using the Ouija board was pretty on point. Like we were getting a lot of stuff that, we didn't know or we had known, but it like validated it more, like
Right.
what went on there.
What other
But we
crazy
got
stuff happened there? So
uh
we were in the kitchen
yep.
and what, just I don't know, setting up
So
equipment, whatever,
yeah, so we
right?
were in the kitchen there and we heard like what sounded like a bell or something ring or some toy or something upstairs,
Sound like a
and
toy.
it sounded like a toy, yeah. And we go upstairs and we see this like a toy phone. There's also another toy up there, and they both made kind of like a similar sound, but the one toy was like a clown or something. It's a clown toy or something like that. But it sounded just exactly like what we heard.
You're well, not you're missing the second best part of it. So So we come back down and we're back in the kitchen, and then we both hear a child's voice coming from
Oh yeah,
the exact same spot where we heard that toy. There were no children there, I'll
yeah.
tell you
We
that.
heard a child's voice coming from the exact same spot.
Bizarre. That place is crazy. We need to go back.
It is
All right, let me ask you some
very
more
crazy.
stuff. All right, what is the best piece of evidence on an investigation that you personally have ever got?
All right. So I'm with the team Ghost Investigators New York, and we were investigating an old Jewish cemetery in Ovid, New York. And it was a cold night. I think it was in 2017. I remember it was really cold that night because I was actually able to see my breath. But while we were walking around the cemetery investigating, I had this feeling come over me, and I don't know if it was like intuition or something like that, but this feeling came over me to start taking pictures. So I yelled over to my fellow investigator Amanda to start taking pictures, and I had mentioned to her the feeling I was getting and that she needed to start taking pictures. So we all started taking pictures, and we took a lot of pictures that night. And after a little more time of investigating the cemetery, we had decided to pack up
Mhm.
and get ready to leave. So we were walking back to the vehicle, and as we were walking, I hear Amanda say something, where she's like in amazement about something. She was looking at her phone, and turns out she was looking through the pictures. And in one of the pictures she took, we had captured a grayish mist, kind of like a full-bodied apparition, and it appeared to be coming up from the ground in the picture. And we actually have the picture, and I'd have to say that that is probably by far the best piece of evidence that we've captured. Um, there was another investigation that I was on, and it was at a bar that was used as part of the Underground Railroad.
Mhm.
And as I was leaving that night, I was outside in the parking lot, and I had taken a picture of like the building, and in the one window, I took like three consecutive pictures, and in the one window, there was like a ghostly apparition of a young boy, and it kind of looked like the young boy was dressed kind of during the Civil War period or something like that. But
Mhm.
it was like a apparition. You could actually see through it and everything. And I do have that picture. I was with my first team that I was with, Eternal Light Paranormal.
Sorry, I just heard a weird noise.
I
All right.
I heard that too.
All right. So, what is your scariest experience with the paranormal that you've ever had?
Okay. So my scariest personal experience with the paranormal would have to be when I investigated the haunted Bergen house, which is in Genesee County, um, because of how it affected me and my emotions so much. It affected me so much that I actually had to walk outside because I was literally in tears because of all the sadness and tragedy that happened there. There was a lot of stuff. I don't want to go into too much detail, but there was a lot of stuff that happened to children there, and I was like feeling that like a lot. Like I was in tears. I actually had to go outside, and the actual owner of the Bergen House, I believe her name is Kathy. Um, she actually gave me a selenite crystal to hold in my hand, and that actually really helped me a lot. Selenite is actually used to, protect from like lower vibrational negative energy. Um, But yeah, this was the first time that I've ever had my emotions, get that out of control while investigating
Mm-hmm.
to such a degree that I had to walk outside the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was also a suicide that supposedly happened there, and there's
Where is that?
also some
Where's that
Genesee
happening?
County.
Oh, really?
It's kind of yeah, it's Genesee County. It's in New York State. Um, it's not too far from Rolling Hills Asylum.
Oh,
If you
wow.
know where that is,
Hmm. I probably follow them on Facebook. Need to go. All right. What
definitely.
are some of your favorite places to investigate that you've already been to?
Some of my favorite places to
Skipping
investigate.
ahead on you. Gotta keep you on your toes.
Yeah. All right. Some of my favorite places are actually the Hinsdale House slash Dandy
Mm-hmm.
House. I love Rolling Hills Asylum. Eastern State Penitentiary was really awesome too. Wildwood Sanitarium. Um, over the summer, I went to Gettysburg. That is a very active location.
You
I was
did?
getting like EMF
I didn't
readings
know
like in the whole town, like the whole town.
that. Mm-hmm.
The Bergen House. I've been to St. Albans Sanatorium. There's a local place here in town that I like to go to. It was the bar that I told you about earlier. And there's a place called the Church of the Damned, which has some pretty crazy activity, which is kind of hit or miss sometimes, but that's another
Where's
place
that?
that I like to go to.
Where's that?
It's in like West Burlington, PA.
Okay.
It's another like local place around here.
What was that Eastern place? Is that in PA as well?
Eastern State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Philadelphia, PA.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah,
I heard it's
it's
really scary.
definitely it's pretty cool. It's definitely worth the trip.
Yeah. All right. So, where are some places that you want to investigate still?
So some places that I actually want to investigate are the Conjuring House. I really want to go there. That's in Burrillville,
Rhode
Rhode
Island.
Island. Yep.
Yeah. Me
I
too.
want to go to Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. Um, you probably know this one, Goldfield Hotel,
Mm-hmm.
Zach Bagans.
That's that's crazy.
That's pretty much the one location that really put them on the map, Ghost Adventures and them.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I know there was a lot of media attention because of that the evidence that they got that was captured
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I'll say that for them. That was probably some of the best evidence they've ever got. So,
And
anyways.
I'd also like to go to the Lizzie Borden house in Fall
Mm-hmm.
River, Massachusetts.
Yeah, I really want to
And
go to the Villisca Axe murder house too.
oh
And
yeah, yeah. I want to go there too.
I want to go back to
I should have had
Gettysburg.
that on the yeah. I should have had the Villisca Axe Murder House on my list too. um,
All right, so
there's
have
also one.
you
There's also one
Oh,
more actually.
Annie said she's been to
Um,
Goldfield. Really? Wow,
Goldfield
Annie.
Hotel. Wow.
Yeah. Damn, Annie. All right,
so,
where's your
so
last place?
there's actually one more. It's the suicide forest in Japan, and it's
Okay.
on the island of Honshu in Japan, and it's called Aokigahara, and it's also known as the Sea of Trees.
So I'm
And
assuming you know about the Island of the Dolls as well.
I actually was gonna put that on my list too. It was either the Suicide Forest or the Island of the Dolls. Like I really want to go to both places actually.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, about like 30 people every year commit suicide there, and it's on the northwestern flank of Mount Fuji, and what they call ghosts is called yurei, and they're the ghosts of the dead. And it's said that suicides increase in March because March is the end of the fiscal year in Japan, and
Wow.
it's also been known that they
Awesome.
practiced ubisut there. And ubisut is where you actually take a family member up the forest or the mountain, and you basically leave them to die. And it's believed that this may have been practiced there well into the 19th century.
I love the history of these places.
Yeah, me too.
You have to do so much research to truly appreciate a
To
location, I think.
truly appreciate, yeah, the location.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever seen an apparition?
I actually have, yes. I've actually
Mm.
seen numerous apparitions. Um, One of my most memorable experiences of seeing an apparition was actually at Rolling Hills Asylum. And I was down in the morgue at the time. And while I was talking to a former teammate, I was I had my body positioned so that I was looking at the doorway, but I was
Hmm.
talking to my teammate who was right in front of me. And we were in the morgue. But as I was talking to my teammate, I had observed an older looking man, and he was wearing a powder blue suit and slacks, and he was wearing brown loafers. And the man had salt and peppery type hair. It was like grayish black kind of thing. And he was wearing glasses. But this apparition of a man appeared to be in his 50s or 60s. And he had suddenly appeared, and just as fast as he appeared, he had vanished into thin air. And I immediately walked out into the hallway to see, where he went. But when I got out to the hallway, there was nobody down there. There was like nobody in the hallway or anything. And that was probably my most memorable experience of seeing an apparition.
That's
Um,
crazy because, like, my most memorable one was probably at the Hinsdale house, seeing that little boy sitting on the couch in the exorcism room. And the way that you describe it is so vivid. Like, it's just like, it's clear as day. And like, I have such a specific description of him, the dark brown hair, the red shirt, the jeans, like, it's crazy. And then you look and they're gone.
yeah, something like that definitely stays with you, and like you don't forget it. Like, and
No, never.
I was able to describe exactly what he looked like,
Yeah.
and it's
Hmm.
gonna be like singed into my head for like so long. Like I'll never forget that. But there was another time where I saw another apparition. This was a full-bodied apparition also, and I was at a local haunted cemetery in Freeport, New York, and they have the Hilltop Cemetery. It's called the Hilltop Cemetery, and we had been investigating for a while, and I decided to pack up our gear. And after packing up our gear, we make it to our vehicle to place everything inside. And while we were doing that, we hear what sounds like humming or singing coming, from the just a few feet away from us. And as we looked to see where the humming was coming from, we end up seeing an apparition of a woman in a white nightgown, and she's got dark dark black hair, and my friend and I we watched in amazement as this woman was skipping between three gravestones. And after seeing this woman, I looked over at my friend and I said to him, "Did you just see what I just saw?" And he replied, "Yeah." But that was another memorable experience of
Oh,
seeing an apparition. And there was also one that I saw down in the basement at the Hinsdale house of a young boy. We were with a group of people, and we were downstairs in the basement. It was a small group of people, and it was really dark down there at the time. But I saw the upper torso of what looked to be a young boy manifesting behind this one person,
hmm.
and I couldn't make out like any facial features because it looked like the facial features were void of any features, but I could tell the color of the hair. It was like a sandy brown or like blondish type hair. I couldn't really see like the clothing that they were wearing because it was like so dark and my view is kind of obstructed a little bit.
We need to go back there.
I know. We definitely do.
Right. Hey, so it's kind of weird, like you and I are close, you know how I am, but listen, it's kind of weird because I saved probably the most personal question for last.
Yeah.
Um, so let's just ask you. Okay, so you recently lost your dad.
Yes.
Does the work you do as a paranormal investigator bring you any sort of closure?
Um yes, I do find that the work I do in the paranormal field, it does bring me some semblance of closure. Um After my father's passing. Um I remember like the day that he passed, my aunt Lori was coming up that night, and I had gone to sleep before she came up, and I actually ended up having some dreams like right before she came up, and my father actually came to me in these dreams, and he actually was talking to me in the dream, and he said, "I'm sorry, I wasn't ready to go yet. I'm sorry." But he also told me that I'm the man of the house now, and he told me that he loved all of us very much, and he sorry, I'm getting a little choked up here. But he
Take your
wanted me
time.
to he wanted me to pass along a message to my mom that he loved her, that he loves her. Um, at the time when I was talking to him in the dream, I actually wanted to kind of be where he was, and I actually asked him that, and he said, "You can't go where I am." But there was another dream that I had like right after that, and my dad has a tractor outside, and in my dream, he was riding the tractor like into the great beyond,
Oh,
and he was
cool.
just riding off. I think it was kind of his way of, saying goodbye. But
Wow.
there's also been like numerous strange occurrences in the house, like after he passed, um, such as disembodied voices, both myself and my mom have heard disembodied voices, and not too long ago, our doorbell, like this door right here, our doorbell had rang. And what was weird about it is the doorbell, it usually plays the full tune.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when the doorbell was rang, it only played like just a few seconds of the tune. And when we came out to find out who was ringing the doorbell or who was out here, there was nobody out here. And when we actually walked out here, I have a, I'm gonna position this a little bit. I don't know if you can see those right there. Those are child car seats. So
Okay.
when we actually walked out here, and they're sitting like pretty firmly on there, so
Mm-hmm.
like if you actually get up and you like stomp on the floor, they're not gonna fall. But
Mm-hmm.
when we actually walked out here to check the doorbell, um, the car seats fell on the floor, and we both kind of thought that was pretty weird.
Honestly, like it's hard for me. Like I understand where you're coming from. Like it's been like my grandma passed away in 2016. Like it still feels like yesterday. So like who am I to tell anyone how to deal with grief? But I will say like that definitely sounds like it sounds like he's around you guys. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I, I,
I'm sorry for your
I
loss though.
actually thank you very much. Um, yeah, I actually do believe that he is around us. Because I still kind of sense him. I sense his presence, and I actually went to the dentist. I think it was a few months ago, and I think I told you about it. But they had to put me under,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually had a vision of my father. We were sitting, like, kind of like a Grand Canyon type scene. We
Mm-hmm.
were sitting like on a cliff, and we were just talking. And when I came to, um, I had been in tears when they actually, walked me up out of the dentist chair, and I was in tears at the time.
Hmm. You would
But
be someone like kind of like me to like focus on saying, "Hey, come and speak to me in my dreams." I think you're a good candidate for that. Honestly.
I think I am because I've always had dreams that like tell the future, or like I've had dreams that are like deja vu, and like you'll dream something and then later on it'll come true.
Mm-hmm. That's
Like I
called
have
a
dreams like that
premonition,
a lot.
actually.
Yeah, premonitions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've
yeah,
had some of my most like spiritual experiences in dreams
yeah.
in regards to, yeah, the other side, I guess. Yeah, for sure.
Another way that I find closure though is, focusing on the memories and the
Hmm.
legacy of my father, and pretty much by keeping them alive in my heart.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, hey, thank you for doing this with me tonight. I
Thank you so
need to go
much. I,
back
I
to the
really
Hinsdale
appreciate it.
house.
I know we got to go back there soon.
Oh, all right, thank you so much. I'm going to, I don't even know how to, here. Anyways, thank you, Denny. When I figure out how to exit this thing to do the, oh wait.
Thank you very much, Jade. I
Have a good
really
night. I'll talk to
appreciate
you
being on the
soon.
show. Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Okay. All right, everybody. That was a good show. Thank you, Denny, um, for being open and honest about your paranormal experiences. Thank you again, Ryan, with the freaking awesome paranormal show, for the opportunity once again to do this. And shout out again to the awesome team that I am part of, Ghost Stories, Fact and Fiction. Go follow us on Facebook. We have an awesome psychic fair coming up and all sorts of cool events. So, thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you have a good night. Bye.